Hello and welcome to Learning with Lulu. In this video we are going to be summarizing chapter 1 titled The Prison Door in Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter. This video, you can either start with this one or there is the preface to the book that introduces the narrator in a sense. And you can also start with that one. But either one is the beginning of this series where I am going to be summarizing chapters from the Scarlet Letter. Before we get into it, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and share with others that you know may benefit. By the end, hopefully you have found it useful and continue coming back around. Like the video, comment your thoughts, especially. I know I say this on every book chapter summary video I do, but I really would love to know your thoughts on this book and the characters and the symbols in it. It's very well written, and it really is heavily laden with symbols. Everything from characters' names to the plants and all of that. So, that all being said, let's jump into these quick summaries of chapters from the Scarlet Letter. So, chapter 1. Essentially just setting the scene for us. It's telling us where things are going to happen, kind of mapping out the town, and also introducing a lot of those initial symbols that are going to arc over the entire storyline. To set the scene, a large group of people, a large group of Puritans, have gathered outside of a 17th century Boston prison house, and they are awaiting the exit of someone that's being held within. Keep this in mind. So the Puritans are called such because they want to have, pure doctrine. They want to follow Christ, follow God in a very pure way. They have left Europe to essentially allow themselves a Puritan utopia of sorts in the land across the sea, the colonies. It's ironic that as part of establishing this town, they have already included implements of crime and punishment, if you will. They have a prison house, they have a scaffold, and they have all of these things for the punishment of misbehavior, even though they are all Puritans. It's almost as though they feel that sin should be it is inevitable because of that first original sin, and that it should be publicly punished. Let me also throw this out there, I just had the thought. If you aren't familiar with Genesis story much, Adam and Eve, and the concept of the original sin, I personally do not adhere to that concept. But if you aren't familiar with it, maybe go just quickly read about it, quickly study up on it, because those kind of symbols are important for reading something like the Scarlet Letter. So, anyway, this crowd of people are outside this prison house and awaiting the exit of this person who's been held inside. It describes the prison house as having a heavy oak door, which also I just want to throw out, talk about symbolism. Oak in, I want to say, Celtic tradition is seen as a masculine, a symbol of masculine strength. So the prison door has this oak door. It's studded with spikes and studded with iron. Something like this based on its construction, you would think that someone really dangerous is inside. And this building has a very ominous look to it. This first chapter tells us that, this Puritan utopia, some of the first things that they built when they were establishing their little town some 20 years before were this heavy prison and a cemetery. And a scaffold, of course, like I said. So it's a very ominous scene, very drab. The one contrast, so the juxtaposition when you've got two opposing things next to each other, and because they are next to each other, their differences are magnified. We have a rose bush growing next to the prison door. And again, to get into symbolism, the rose bush as a sign of femininity. There's a lot there. If you would appreciate and if you'd benefit from a video that does cover more of that in depth, please let me know, because I would be happy to make it, but I know a lot of you do just come to these videos for the quick summaries of the chapters. So anyway, there's a rose bush next to the prison door. That is an intentional juxtaposition. We have this rose bush next to the heavy oak door of a prison. The narrator talks about how perhaps this rose bush is a sign of nature and nature's mercy, nurturing of the condemned. And then the narrator proceeds to say kind of what I just said, may provide some sweet moral blossom. So, there's some symbolism to be taken from that. Or, if you do find this story just very upsetting and unfair, then, you can take the rose bush to be some sort of relief from essentially the gloominess of the story. That's chapter 1. It's just setting the scene. We see the prison. There are some ironies in that a utopian society, some of the utopia that the Puritans were trying to establish, some of the first things they built are edifices to punish crime and sin. And also we've got the spike, iron-studded, heavy oak door of a prison with a rose bush outside of it. And we've got this crowd of people watching to see this person who's about to be publicly shamed for a sin. I don't know why I did that, but anyway. So, stay tuned for chapter 2. And again, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment your thoughts, and share with others. Thanks for watching. Bye.